What's up, guys and gals? Welcome back to the Nerd Castle for the next episode of Reign of Kings. My name is Splattercat, and I'm here today hanging out with all of you as we attempt to... Do I have a super awesome sword? I have a super awesome sword. Other than that, I'm super nude right now, though. So we got our ass whooped in the previous episode, and we found out, actually, through the grapevine, I've been asking around, Blue hired that bandit. So Blue actually sent that bandit out there to mess with people because he had no face paint or whatever. Very, very sneaky. Very, very sneaky and underhanded, Blue. Even though there's a piece of cord going right now, apparently they thought the way around that was to hire people to go out and raid for them. It's like, oh my god. It's so sinister, but I like it. I love it. I like it a lot. These sorts of little things that happen on a server are exactly the sort of thing that give the place a little bit of personality. I'm going to go through, and since we got robbed last time, essentially I've got to redo all the things that I just did, which is a little bit boring, and unfortunately this is going to be a resource gathering episode. As far as I know, though, there are still bandits around, and I am raring to get a little bit more practice in at combat, because what that last one taught me is that I am actually really, really out of practice. Like, seriously, I haven't actually PvP'd anybody in about a week now, and unfortunately I wasn't reading tells. Like, typically I tend to do pretty well in PvP in this game, even against multiple opponents, but I guess a week off. Who's running around up here? Just a dude with a club. It's a little bit concerning. We're starving to death right now. Yeah, Greasewood's going to be kind of like the Saudis of the server. They got the oil, and so unfortunately you're going to need a broker moving into their lands anytime that you want to grab that stuff. Technically, the swamp that has the oil is their top border, so it's technically not their land. It's kind of like the sidewalk in front of your house. You don't really own it like the city owns the sidewalk, so it's one of those weird little things, but they're already calling it their oil, and so my guess is that this is probably going to get a little bit rowdy before it gets better. My faction is actually really, really low on all forms of supplies. Like, we don't have a whole lot of anything right now, and so I think the best way that I can assist everybody is just by hanging out in the PvP zone. That gives us a little bit of a chance of danger, because there are people who are not following the rules right now. There are bandits. Actually, technically, I guess that's not following, not following the rules. It doesn't show a disadherence or a lack of adherence to the rules to be a bandit and to be factionless and just attack whoever you want. I mean, you can do that, I guess, because factions are the protection versus that sort of behavior. That guy is always going to be a lone wolf, whereas you can call in friends to come and whoop him real fast and get some help. However, I do like the fact that different playstyles are already being reflected on the server. That's really, really cool. Oh, really? There's a bunch of guys over there? Okay, so I'll deal with that after this whole thing is over. I don't know, it's always weird because I sit around for like an hour in between each recording just sort of like doing random stuff, and then the second I start recording, every single time there's a bunch of like GM requests. Every single time. It's so weird. I wonder if that happens to people that are game masters for like World of Warcraft. Like the second they actually like get a phone call or something, that's when people need help. I'll help them out in just a minute. I'm going to be AFK. I'm going to pretend like I'm AFK for a little bit anyways, and then I'll get them at the back end so that we can move face paints around and things like that. I'm going to go... Who is that right there? Is he hostile? Lots of people running around. There are lots of people running around with clubs and nakedity, and that makes me feel very, very nervous about our long-term survival prospects. Reiterating rules is tough, but I guess I'll let him know. Technically, there's a ceasefire, but it was created by the factions. So technically... and do what you want, but you may face reprisals from your teammates. There it is. You might end up hanged or like given away as part of a piece of cord deal so that we can hang you to get our revenge. You know, anything like that. Alright, and so there's 48-hour peace right now, but it could break at any moment. It's looking real fragile. I mean, people in glass houses should not throw stones at the also made out of glass piece of cords. Got a guy running around over there. I love the fact, let's see who's online right now. How many people do we have? See, the server fills up very, very quickly. In fact, oh, actually, it's full right now. So I may actually need to expand it out. People have said that they're really, really impressed that, like, with 25 people on, they're still getting 60 frames per second, and everything's working out really well. I'm actually, if you're wondering what I'm doing right now, I'm just waiting for all the iron to respawn. That's pretty much all that it comes down to. That guy looks like he's maybe chasing a bunny. There's a big blood pile over there, which means that somebody's been up to no good. Then again, when is anybody up to any good in this game ever? Trial by combat. That seems like a great way. You know that, like, anytime there was a large gathering of men with weapons, that's when assassinations used to take place in medieval times. Like, that's why butter knives were invented, because too many people were stabbing each other at dinners. Somebody would have some perceived slight. Wars were getting declared over people's sons getting stabbed at dinner parties and things like that, because everybody would just bring, like, these big buck knives or whatever to dinner, and that's why they made butter knives, bread knives, and things like that, is so that you couldn't harm each other quite as badly. I don't know, at least that's what I heard. I might be wrong on that urban legend. I'd have to go over to Reuters, or I'd have to go over to... God, what's the name of that website where they just, like, debunk things all day, every day? I can't remember. Either way, though, I am not the champion of my faction. What I just learned is that I'm really, really bad at fighting a minute ago. Technically, I could go fight with some other people right now and steal their stuff. If other people are going to be bandits, I might as well be a bandit. In addition, to spruce things up slightly, we may take our bow, because I did get a bow off a dead body that was laying over there. I didn't kill him, I swear. It just kind of looked like I did. There we go, we got that. We've got a food chest. Oh, good. Oaken's taking care of business over here. I've been really pleased. Oaken, for our faction, has turned into kind of like the quartermaster. Like, he's really been taking care of business. He's essentially, he's been calling out, like, what we need while people are out farming, and then we've been doing supply chain runs, basically, and then he organizes it and lets us know what we have. Therefore, you know, when you're out in the field, you aren't wasting your time farming a bunch of stuff that, like, nobody needs. Farm out some of this wood right now. This could become a very addictive experience, because it's starting to get sort of the familiar tinge of like an MMORPG where there's rules. I may consider expanding the server cap out a little bit. It'll depend. It gets kind of expensive when the server gets a little bit more heavily populated. I think it's like $1.50 per person, and so raising it up, it'd be another like 15-20 bucks a month to get it up to 40 people for right now, which I think is actually the game dictated maximum that you can have on a server. I don't know what that would do to our performance or anything like that, but I think Stanky Leg is trying to become the faction leader of Blue. Stanky Leg's actually a pretty decent combatant. On that last one, I wasn't expecting the stab right there. Very, very few people actually ever stab in combat, and unfortunately, I went all in Diablo style, just trying to hack him to pieces, and he actually showed most people you could just spam attack, and it works perfectly fine. He threw me off balance by actually, like, blocking and doing that. That means he probably lives around San Jose like me somewhere, where he's got good latency. That's what I would figure, is because most people with bad latency just don't even bother to block. They just swing their way through, and they hope that the lag prevention and the lag equalization saves them. It's not a bad plan, all things considered. Wow, this iron has taken forever. We may have to take a little walk into... Oh, there it is, right as I said it. That's what we need, actually. That's the thing that we are, like, 100% out of right now in the green faction, is we have no iron. And that 600 that got jacked from us by the blue faction, unfortunately, put us a little bit in a deficit. I went back to base after the last episode and kind of, like, took a look at the stuff that we had. And unfortunately... Oh yeah, if you're wondering why we the PDRC now, the PDRC is the People's Democratic Republic of Chivalry. Just in case, I wanted to give the whole thing an authoritarian bend. The People's Republic, Democratic Republic even, of Chivalry, and you can almost hear the horns in the background. You can see the Stalin mustaches flying in the sky. Chivalry, you are super awesome and better than purple. That's like, I'm working on our national anthem right now. I don't know how it's going to work out at the end of the day, but I feel like it's coming along pretty well. Yeah, I'm out here. And so, see, there we go. People like calling stuff out when they know people are afield. It looks like the iron... Oh, the iron just came back. Damn it. The iron came back the very next moment. The second... That comes from an old cartoon. I don't know if you guys ever saw that. There was an old Canadian cartoon. There used to be a thing on Cartoon Network called Oh Canada, where they would actually show off... They would show off cartoons made by Canadian artists and writers and things like that that didn't necessarily make it down to the United States. This is before the internet and, like, globalization, where, like, people had, like, vast knowledge of Australian cartoons and random things like that. So, Splatter is raiding taping from people's chests. I don't know. I mean, right now, it would seem like a bad idea. I mean, I don't really know if that falls into a gray area. I'm not sure. I'm going to try and keep on the down low right now, because I really don't feel like doing a whole bunch of, like, random... Neo Andy. I'm not sure what faction he declared. I don't know. I feel like we're going to have spies and all kinds of other crazy stuff going on right now. People are going to try and open the gates for each other. Are those sleepers over there? What are those in the middle of the field over there? You see those little dots right there? I have no clue what those are, but I'm intensely interested in finding out. Are they sleepers, or are they... What the hell are those? That's odd. Why would somebody sleep out in the middle of the field? Unless they're dead bodies from the zombies or whatever. Somebody's kiting them around, maybe? I don't see any more iron up here, so we might as well go ahead and take a look. I think it's somebody killing... Yeah, it's somebody killing plague villagers. I don't know if they're still going to be lootable, but we'll check it out here. Got a bunny on that side. Yeah, I'm willing to bet that they're probably already taken care of. Let's go get the remainder of the iron, and what we'll do after that is we'll go into the plague village. We'll shoot a couple of plague villagers. Oh yeah, he's in there fighting with a plague villager right now. That'd be kind of cool. I think we've got like 500 or 600 oil. It shouldn't be too bad on the oil, I don't think. But then again, he can't hear us right now. We're going to set up a team speak so that that's taken care of in a little bit. We're going to do one for like the whole server, and we're going to set up like sub-team speaks or sub-ventrilos that each have a password for each faction so that people can go to the faction that they want. And they have also a private chat and a public chat where they can hang out for a little bit. Maybe let people get to know each other a little bit better. I think that's the biggest problem is people are more likely to be assholes to people that they don't know and people that they have like no attachment to. And once you talk with people for a little while, it becomes a lot more fun to get killed by your friends and stuff like that, or at least killed by the acquaintances that you've met on the internet. Let me get on this right here because I know people are calling it out and asking for it. It might be quicker to do this with this right here. A little bit quicker. Yeah, there we go. Because I think the harvest is actually exactly the same when you go off sheep. So we got a little bit of flax coming through right there. I think actually farming flax off sheep might be the better plan by comparison to just like running around the field trying to grab it up off the ground, but I don't know. Depends what you're up to and what area you're already in. Come on, iron. You ain't respawned yet. I really... I need to make sure... I would really love to find a way that as a server admin I could make those actually infinite, where you could just sit there and just like bang on them for a while to get the things that you need, because I think it would take an edge off of a lot of the... There's some more iron up and in there. Now the iron runs that way too, into Flophaven territory, but if we're inside somebody else's territory, it doesn't even matter what the piece of cord is. We might get ourselves into a serious amount of trouble. Somebody might... I thought that was like a gray pig over there for a second. I was like, wow, that pig is suffering from a massive lack of pigmentation. What are you, like an albino pig or something? Is that a thing? Submitted for your approval? Somebody will probably send me a picture of that right after I say that. Let's get up in here, get some iron going. Yep. Like I said, there's a 48-hour piece of cord going right now, so things might not go so well. And obviously, I'm not going to video document myself doing anything like super secret spy clandestine murdering anybody. Go backing up in here. I may try to stir the pot a little bit if I run across any Flophaven people, though. We'll see what happens. We'll see how it goes down in Funky Town and Floppy Town. There we go. We'll call it Floppy Town. That's their capital from now on. Make it levels higher after we run out of space. Let me get this sheep real quick because they did ask me to bring back some extra stuff for them. I'm out sort of just being a mercenary right now, making sure that the job gets done. I think everybody else is back in... I think everybody else is back in another area. I need to correct that real fast before they get it in. There we go. I just gotta correct people before they get the wrong impressions. I think that's going to be the downside in all honesty. Like a lot of the other factions, so for example, Flophaven has really ready access to certain materials. Green, I think, has the worst access to materials, but I think Green also has the best defensive land. Just personally, taking a look at the way that things are arrayed, I think that when you've got things right next to the red zone, like I think Flophaven is going to have a lot more problems than Chivalry is, for example, when it comes to just like random people feeding through and causing problems. I'll have to clarify all these rules and make sure. I mean, I think people are a little bit shaky right now, but get this going right here. So basically, any place that people have to go to get the stuff that they need will be red, unless otherwise, like, you don't own specific areas. And so, yeah, if there's resources... So... There we go. So I just want to make sure that people have things clarified as far as the rules go. I haven't actually typed it up and put it into a formal text post just yet, but I know there's a couple people that have said they have access to forums and things like that, and so I think that'll make life a little bit easier. Got people splitting hairs now, being humorous. But yeah, anyways, I think that I need to sit down and do a formal text post on like the forums once we get those set up so that people know exactly what's going down. I'm going to try and get the sheep over here in just a moment too. A little bit of sheeping slaughter added in. I'm locking rules splat. We got a new dialect forming here around our Reign of Kings lands. I think Lord Honeycorn already declared himself blue, as I recall. I've got him on my list as blue. There we go right there. Go ahead and clip the shit out of this sheep right here. He made it to the wrong side of the tracks, and he's wearing the wrong colors. You got the wrong flag flying right now, sheep. You're in purple territory. I'm just enforcing right now. I don't really care what purple does on their territory, but I'm just saying, you're looking awfully sheepy and woolly and white right now, when you should be looking real purple in this neighborhood. I mean, to be fair, I'm looking green in this neighborhood, not to say that I don't know what I'm doing, just to say that, I don't really have the right colors on either. We could technically, regardless of the peace accord, we could get jumped while we're out here, because people don't tend to follow the rules inside their own territory, because why would they have to? Like, for example, it's kind of like how certain countries don't extradite to other countries. They're like, why should I? You have no power here. I mean, just, it is what it is. You can put pressure on them, but at the end of the day, it's their call whether they're going to do it or not. Go ahead and get ourselves, how much iron are we packing right now? Almost 1,000. That'll be pretty good. I think that'll put us on happy terms with the rest of our faction if we can get it done. We got so much flax and everything back at base too. Like, seriously, we have a real abundance of flax, so I think that our siege machines should be going really soon. The only downside to all of this is that I sort of feel guilty because I'm showing off all the stuff that we have, so that like every single time, ooh, there's stone over here. Yeah, I might grab that on the way back too, just steal from Flophaven a little bit. Just kind of like grab all their stuff. I don't know. Might work out pretty well for us. Nobody ever comes back to this stone back here. There are other stone fields around if you can get at them, but a lot of people seem to be unaware of them. That's I mean, it's kind of like a game familiarity thing, I guess. Once you've got like 80 hours played like I do, you start to just know the place like the back of your hand. I kind of know where I am no matter where you drop me on the map. I'm going to be able to find my way home pretty easily. Still, let's see here. Looking pretty good on this side. I'm hoping that there isn't actually like a wait list to get onto the server or anything like that. That would cause like a serious problem. Like, are we running 25 deep at all times? It looks like we are. People jumping on like instantaneously the moment that other people jump off. It's a little bit unfortunate. I'm not really sure how I'm going to regulate that since I can't really keep the server running like 24 hours a day. I'm going to fight this wolf over here because we need its parts. And I think that'll help us out with both leathers and hides and some other stuff so that we can make our blacksmithing regions. This wolf should whip around pretty quickly once he realizes I'm in the area. Oh, and I missed with my first strike because I'm a giant throbbing bad. Let me see if I can get him. And straight up the pooper. And so we've got that right there. Don't ever let it be said that I could be part of medieval PETA. We'll get rid of this right here. We do have a couple band-aids on us. Wow, that went really... Oh, never mind. He didn't despawn. I thought he despawned already. I was like, that was weird. How did he despawn so quickly? Still. Grab this right here. Come on. Wow, he's dropping a lot of loot. How many teeth does a dog have? It's got to be quite a few, but I wouldn't assume that it's that many. Get on this side. Trying to keep an eye out because we're in enemy territory right now, and I have no idea where they're building at. I have no clue where the capital is for Flophaven, so it could be like right over the side of this hill right here if we weren't careful. Haven't been really using the fly command very much, except to get around and like moderate on random things, and so I don't know. I'm trying to keep it to a minimum because it would give me an unfair advantage in knowing where everything is at, and so I tend to stay away from it for right now. Treat it like it's made out of a real nasty, stanky-ass cheese that has not been covered properly. I don't know. You're going to a cheese shop before? The whole place just smells like farts. I'm like, eh. Although, then again, that would lead me to believe that you could just be overly flatulent inside of a cheese, like inside of any cheese shop, and nobody would ever be able to call you on it. They'd be like, it kind of smells farty in here. But like, yes, this is some high-quality cheese in here. I made it myself. I think if we can finish these off and then we head back to base, that should be about it for all of us. Since this episode is kind of dragging, I'm going to wait till the peace accord is up, and then I'll record a few more episodes, but hopefully this will get you all by. I'll try and record something else fun to like fill in if I don't have anything for Reign of Kings. My name is Splattercat. Thank you for joining me here at the Nerdcastle for the next episode of Reign of Kings. I look forward to seeing you all in future episodes. Take care out there, everybody, and as always, hi-do.